So I've actually been wanting to do a video like this for a while, but it's a little bit awkward for me because I really don't like to talk too much about myself. I know people who talk to me probably gonna be like, "Yeah, you do," but sitting in front of the camera talking about yourself is a little bit weird and awkward for me. But I think it's important to talk a little bit about my journey today because I think every trainer brings their personal experiences into training. Now, that has nothing to do with exercise selection or what your clients are doing, the sets and reps, because I think any good trainer tailors their training to the client. But to completely deny and say that your beliefs and your belief systems and your experiences don't imply some of your training would just be dishonest. I definitely, my experiences, my life experiences, my athletic experiences, they definitely play a huge role in the way I train and how I train my clients. And again, exercise selection, load, all those things it's a different discussion. But some of the main principles that I believe in have a lot to do with my personal journey. So today, we're gonna talk about my personal journey. Obviously, on this page, you could just look at my bio, but I want to talk a little bit about just how I got here as a trainer in New York City. I'm from Kingston, New York, a small town in upstate New York, and we'll just stick to kind of like my athletic achievements, just because I think one of the points I'm trying to make has more to do with obviously training and performance. So I came from a small town. I played basketball. Basketball was my passion, and one of the first goals that I set for myself, knowing that college was going to be something that was going to be very difficult for my family to pay for. Now, I'm not going to get into we were poor, we were from the hood, or all this other stuff, but there were definitely some nights when we would go to bed hungry. And sometimes those were multiple nights and multiple days where we were a little bit hungry. And knowing that, seeing my 3 older sisters go to college and how tough that was in the family, and how we were scraping every nickel and dime to kind of support them while they were in college. One of my main goals was just to get a Division I scholarship. There hadn't been any basketball players who had received a Division I scholarship in my hometown like over 20, 25 years, something like that. Like schools didn't even come to Kingston to watch us. Like it wasn't until I started playing AAU and playing down here in the city that I started to even get some looks. Like no one even knew where Kingston was. When I would introduce myself at camps, like, "Oh, Keith, I'm from Kingston," people would be like, "Oh, Kingston, Jamaica." I'm like, "Nah, like I live just 2 hours upstate. Like it's not that far." So it took a tremendous amount of work and determination and focus, and I was able to achieve that goal. I went to Holy Cross, the College of the Holy Cross. Shout out to the Crusaders. But in college, same thing, right? You go from being the best basketball player in your hometown to going to a Division I school where you're starting all over, right? A lot of the lessons that I try to teach to my clients and teach to and impart to anyone who kind of really spends time with me is that the concept of not being afraid to start over. Even now, having played basketball for 9 years and now being a trainer, going into my 3rd year, like I'm starting over. But anyway, so I get to Holy Cross. I'm thinking, I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna be this amazing basketball player. Like I'm gonna have a ton of girlfriends. Like I thought I was gonna be like a player in college, and then Amy came along. But that's another story. Anyway, fast forward about halfway through the first semester, I was drowning in school. The work seemed inconceivably hard. I was chasing Amy around campus. She seemed very disinterested in me, and basketball was kicking my ass. There's no other way to describe it. Coach Willard, for any of you who watch this and know Coach Willard, he's not an easy coach to play for. And I was literally drowning. And I remember having a conversation with my brother and telling him, like, I don't think I'm gonna make it. Like I might have made a mistake like coming here. And he encouraged me, and from that point I just kind of put my head down and I worked. I was like, if there's anything I know how to do, I know how to work hard. And I just worked hard. There's no substitute for hard work. And, fast forward 3 years, I'm player of the year, we win the championship, I'm tournament MVP, all these amazing things. And I come out of college and I'm like traveling around the country doing NBA trials. Like, I'm like, yo, are you kidding me? Like, I'm Keith from this small town of 30,000 upstate New York. Like, I'm walking in and seeing Doc Rivers and Danny Ainge up in Boston and coming down. I tried out for the Knicks here. Like how like crazy is that? Like, so I was having like this amazing time. And then, I was a fringe player. Like, the chances of me making the NBA were very slim. Like, I realized that, but being on that kind of like workout carousel, traveling around the country, being flown around the country, kind of got me gassed up a little bit. And the draft, I had a really good workout down in Utah. They like wrote about me in the local newspaper. The coaches said they were impressed. I had meetings with the coaching staff, all these things, and there was a chance for me to play with their summer league team. NBA draft comes, I don't get drafted, and then the next week players are getting picked up, players that I know are getting calls saying, "Oh, come to summer league," and it's just crickets. It's crickets. Like, no phone calls, no emails. Like, I couldn't even get in touch with my agent. Like, my agent is nowhere to be found. Like, well, that's another story. But yeah, my agent is nowhere to be found, and the rest of the summer my phone was quiet. So then guys start getting contracts to go overseas. Most guys head over like, beginning of August, mid-August. I'm still at home, and I didn't have any money. I was spending all of my time training. I wasn't working. Our family house had been foreclosed on my sophomore going into my junior year. So there was no home base. There was no place for me to go. With no money, I was just, staying with friends and training for this dream that I had. And I was training extremely hard, doing everything I could do, but what are you gonna do with no money, no place to go? So I actually went back home to Kingston, New York, after being a high school star, after being a college star, after everybody read these articles about me flying around the country at these NBA drafts or at these NBA workouts. And I went back to JD's Wine and Liquor. Shout out to JD though for letting me come back. But it was a liquor supermarket in the Kingston Plaza. And I got back in the register and got back in the stock room and broke down boxes and took the trash out to make a little bit of money so I could have money for a YMCA membership and money to feed myself every day as I stayed with, again, just staying with friends in like a friend's room. And that was very humbling after, climbing a couple of mountains that I thought I was like this amazing player, an amazing person. And to go back home and to see people's faces when they came into the store and they would see me and some people would be like, "Oh no, you're gonna make it, don't worry about it, keep working." And the other people would come in and I would just see their face like, "Oh, look at him, he thought he was all this and that, and now look at him." And even worse than that, the people who would come in and really like feel bad for me, and they would try to like hide their empathetic looks, but I could tell. Like, I remember asking one of the other managers there, like, "Yo, can I just work in the back? Like, can I just break boxes down and take the trash out? Because I don't want to be in the front ringing people up." And I did that for 3 weeks, almost a month, and then I got an email on Wednesday with an airplane ticket and a contract offer from Turkey, from a city named Antalya in the south of Turkey. I had no idea if it was real. I got the contract on Wednesday. They wanted me to leave on Thursday. And so I texted my agent and asked him if it's real. He checked it out, and it ends up being a real offer from a team in Turkey. And 48 hours later on Friday, I was on a plane going to a place I had never heard of. I remember I met up with some friends right before I left, and we Googled Antalya, and I'm like, "Oh, it looks nice. There's palm trees." And I just had no idea what I was getting into, where I was going, and I got in the plane. I got to Turkey, completely lost. It was extremely hot in Antalya. Antalya is very warm, and I remember just being like so confused and so nervous about everything. And we go for a medical check, and I'm in this like Turkish hospital. The doctor's speaking Turkish, my coach is speaking Turkish, like the man, like I'm sitting there as a patient and no one's speaking to me in English, and I'm just like, yo, like maybe this is a mistake. And I'll never forget, the doctor's phone rings, and this is back in like the age of ringtones. And the doctor's phone rings, and it's PIMP by 50 Cent. And I sat there, I'm like, I'm gonna be all right. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna be all right. And, you know, I had a pretty good rookie season. Next year I went to Germany, made a little bit more money, played for a better team. And then I went back to Turkey, and I played with the same team for 7 years. And we had a lot of success. The team's name is Banvit. It's a chicken company. I'm gonna post some pictures like in the video so you can see kind of like, I tell people I play for a chicken company all the time, and they kind of chuckle. But yeah, play for a chicken company. They would give out chicken at games. It was amazing. I had a good time there. I was really fortunate to play for the same team for so long and be in the same place. A lot of European players can attest to jumping countries and teams each year. And there's a lot of instability, and there's a lot of crazy things that go on with European basketball. I've seen guys, you know, contracts get cut, guaranteed contracts get cut. I've seen guys stop getting paid. I've seen teams run out of money where they can't pay players. A lot of like craziness. Maybe that'll be a video I share later, but a lot of craziness goes on in European basketball. It's extremely competitive, extremely cutthroat, and you really just have to survive and do the best you can. 9 years of professional basketball overseas. I've now been retired for going on my 3rd year. I've been inducted into the Hall of Fame out Holy Cross and in Kingston, New York, at the high school there as well. And I do this little long drawn out story to give you a little background on myself because, you know, like I said, I think every trainer brings his personal experiences into their training. So those are my personal experiences, and here's what they taught me when it comes to my training and my training style. There's no substitute for hard work, right? Time and time again, my work ethic is what put me over the top. And I can give you numerous examples, but I didn't come from a big town. Honestly, I wasn't the most talented player, right? My role for all of my professional years, probably besides my first 2 years. So for 7 years, my main role was to play hard defense, hustle, and to be a good shooter when I had the chance. But I wasn't creating plays, I wasn't flashy, I wasn't, you know, like here and there I would get a steal and maybe get a dunk and get a highlight, but I was the nitty gritty, dive on the floor, the stuff that didn't show up in the box score. There were no, you know, when we walked out the tunnel, like everyone was screaming for like the star players, and I was like, I could just walk through. And you know, you got to check your ego, and you just got to work hard. So there's no substitute for work ethic. Consistency, right, is what puts you over the top as well. You can't think that you're gonna eat healthy for a couple days, then do whatever you want. You can't think you're gonna be active for 1 or 2 days and then, you know, sit around all day. Like, consistency drives everything. It was being in the gym, shooting hundreds of jump shots every day, staying at the practice every practice, coming to practice early every practice to get treatment and make sure my body was in the right condition so I could play. What are you consistently doing to reach your goals? Whether they're performance goals, whether they're health goals, weight loss goals, what are you doing consistently to get to where you're trying to go, right? Hard work, consistency. And this is one of the things that I learned that, you know, some people may not agree with, right? Sometimes you can do everything right? You can work hard, you can be consistent, you can sacrifice everything. And then sometimes, like, shit just doesn't go your way. And that's just life, right? There's been times where I've devoted my whole summer and like sacrificed everything. Like and I can look at my teammates and I say like, yo, 1 through 12, we did everything we're supposed to do to get here. And then you lose, right? There's one thing that basketball taught me is that you win some and you lose some. And you gotta be able to take an L and pick yourself back up and keep going. So sometimes you do everything right and just life just decides to throw a curveball at you. So there's 3 things I want to impart on you with this excessively long video is that there's no substitute for hard work. Work ethic will separate you. A lot of people think they work hard, but they're not working hard, right? You have to go to another level if you really want to achieve something really special. If you look at your life and really honestly, and think about the things that you really cherish the most. Were any of those things easily obtained? And then consistency, right? I knew when I was in the gym, working out hard every day, right? Like recovering the way I'm supposed to, right? Eating well, preparing my body for the games. When I was doing that consistently, I could clearly see that my performance was better, right? And that's when you got to be honest with yourself. Are you doing the things day in and day out to reach your goals? And then, sometimes things just don't work out, right? A lot of trainers, a lot of people in this fitness industry will tell you that if you do A, B, and C, you are guaranteed. I will guarantee you results. I will guarantee you this. And listen, we're gonna do everything. I'm gonna do everything I can to give you the best shot if you work with me, right? This isn't like an advertisement, but if you work with me or you're working with me, I'm gonna do everything that I can to get you to your goals. But there's no guarantee, right? There's we have to work hard, we have to be consistent, we have to do the right types of exercise, we have to do all these things the right way, and we give ourselves the best chance to win, right? And winning is reaching your goals and becoming healthier and all those things. But that's not saying that life isn't gonna, sometimes throw us a curveball. It's not gonna happen all the time, and sometimes like life is unfair and sometimes can be cruel, and my past experiences have taught me that, through numerous situations. So you give yourself the best chance to win, but when you take a L, like I said, you take that L, you smoke it, whatever, and then you get up and you go again. All right, so I hope that you can take something from this video, and I hope it's not too long. And I just want to make a quick video about some of my personal experiences and the type of mentality that I try to bring to my training. Like I said, we could talk about exercise technique and the reps and the sets and the loads and all those things, all different. But I think, we all bring our personal experiences in the way we teach and the way we train, and those are some of mine, okay? So remember, no substitute for work ethic, consistency is key, and give yourself the best chance to win, but no one out here is undefeated. We all gonna take an L at some point, and you pick yourself back up and you keep going.